The word Advent comes from the Latin word adventus, which means the coming or the arrival. And Advent is the period of 4 weeks before Christmas, where we anticipate the arrival of Jesus at Christmas. And it's a time for us to prepare our hearts and our homes and our minds to receive all the great gifts that the Lord has to give us on the celebration of his birth. During Advent, we remember that there are 3 times that Jesus comes into the world. Of course, there's his coming through the incarnation, through his birth, when he became man, when he was born in Bethlehem. And then we also remember his final coming at the end of time, when the Lord will return to judge the living and the dead. And we also remember the way the Lord visits us now in our lives through grace, where he comes and he dwells in our hearts. And so Advent, the season where we celebrate and remember the coming of Jesus, we remember these different ways that the Lord comes into our lives, through his birth, through his coming again at the end of time, and through his dwelling in our hearts through grace. I think the PC community can see and approach Advent as an opportunity to receive God's grace, that the Lord is always giving so many good gifts to us to prepare us to come to understand Jesus, which is really the meaning of Christmas, an opportunity to understand who the Christ child is. And Advent is a time for us to receive God's grace to prepare us to be able to celebrate Christmas in a joyful and beautiful way. So part of Advent and part of the preparing to celebrate Christmas involves, traditionally for Catholics, penance, so fasting or giving something up. And I think it's similar to Lent, that it's a penitential season, and it's a great way to choose 1 or 2 things to give up during Advent, which will prepare us to celebrate Christmas. And of course, this is a crazy and really busy time of year, and so don't take too much on your plate, but even the small things can go a long way. Doing 1 small thing with great love can have a huge impact on our lives. There are a lot of great ways to celebrate Advent while we're here at PC. We have the Lessons and Carols Advent Christmas celebration on December 7th in the chapel, and that's a beautiful experience of the music and the readings from scripture that encapsulate the Advent traditions. And also just stopping in the chapel to light a candle, to pray in front of the Advent wreath, to pray in front of the stable and the manger scene are great ways to make Advent special while we're at PC. One thing my family would always do during Advent leading up to Christmas was my mom would take a manger and she would have a bowl of hay next to it. And she was like, every time you do a good deed during Advent, you can put a piece of straw in the manger, because you're preparing you're giving things with love to Jesus to prepare for him to come. And then on Christmas morning, the hay would turn into candy. And so there would be, you would wake up on Christmas morning and all the good deeds that we had done had been transformed by the celebration of Christmas. And that's something that just has stuck with me for a long time and was a really beautiful tradition. My wish for the PC community this Christmas is for everyone to come to experience the joy of Jesus. That Christmas is a season of joy, it's also a season of peace. And my wish and my prayer is that everyone at PC receives in a special way the grace of the Lord to be able to have hearts that are filled with joy and lives that are filled with peace.